Man, oh man, is it that time again? It's one of my favorite times lately. I tell you, this is the Cave Within, the 4th of July edition of the Cave Within. We are here, baby. We are coming in hot. Welcome aboard, my wonderful Cave from Within family. It feels so good to be back once again. This is the first Cave Within live broadcast of the month of July 2026. So I figured why not do a 4th of July 4th of July broadcast of For the Cave Within. And for those who are tuning in for the very first time, my name is Clifton Pope and I will be your guide for the Cave Within. And what the Cave Within is, it's basically your ambient sanctuary for a balanced fusion of poetry, meditation, and stillness. And tonight's broadcast, as always, is for unwinding and returning to yourself. For all of my first time broadcast listeners, for those who listen on a regular basis, y'all already know that. But again, this space is for all the restless souls, the night healers, the deep feelers. And again, for those who are listening for the very first time, for those who are regular broadcast listeners, y'all already know that this is a live digital sanctuary for people who want to unwind at night, study or focus, sleep, reflect, and feel spiritually and creatively recentered. Or if you want to just, kind of wind down a little bit after all of the 4th of July festivities from the barbecue, family time, all of those things, fireworks. This is your place to be within the Cave Within. And for the first broadcast for July 2026 for the Cave Within, I figured since this is 4th of July, I figured we'd do a little bit of a theme from independence to interdependence and talk about the difference between bosses and leaders. I figured why not for the sake of the 4th of July, right? Because a lot of us were taught that strength means that we have to do it alone all the time, or we have to carry it all by any means. We don't need anybody, and we like to be in control of everything. I know this very well because I can't count how many times I've been in those scenarios myself. And sometimes we do it just so we can feel good about ourselves, to where we let our pride get the best of us and all of those things. And I totally get it because I've been there and done that once more. But what I've been realizing, quite honestly, y'all, is that real growth and leadership and healing often happens when we move from isolation to connection. I kind of talk about this within my Fighting Fear series, Fight Fear with Hope, Truth, Community, and Worship. But from a community standpoint, that's very, very true. And that's one of the best ways we can continue to move forward is fighting fear with community, moving from that isolation to connection, from ego to service, but most importantly, from independence to interdependence. So hear me out on this, like always. If you feel like your spirit has been carrying too much alone, or if your mind has been trying to hold up a whole world by itself, or better yet, if your heart is ready for a softer, wiser way, you're in the right room. I can tell you that. Welcome aboard to the Cave Within, baby. So let's get ourselves settled in, establish some stillness, ground ourselves in who we are, what we are about, and what we represent. Let's take a slow, deep breath into your nose for, say, 3 to 5 seconds. Nice, calm inhale. Hold your breath for maybe 3 to 5 seconds and then slowly exhale through your nose or through your mouth once more for 3 to 5 seconds. And again, breathe in through your nose for 3 to 5 seconds, holding your breath again for about 3 to 5 seconds, and then exhaling slowly for 3 to 5 seconds once more. Again, from the crown on top of your head all the way down to the roots of your feet. Notice any tension you may be feeling and just release it. Let your shoulders drop. Relax all areas you may feel. Again, any tension or stress. Soften those areas without a doubt. This is just a friendly reminder that you don't have to perform here or you don't have to prove anything here. All you have to do is simply arrive. That's how we do it here within. Oh, and by the way, if this space helps you breathe easier, like always, please, by all means, subscribe to kicks.com / Mr. Did Not Give Up 44 at Mr. Did Not Give Up 44. Please, by all means, truly appreciate the support. That way we can continue to grow this sanctuary on a regular basis. Like always, before we move into the poetry, like we normally do, let's dive a little bit deeper into grounding ourselves once more. If it feels good, close your eyes, soften your gaze, whichever's more comfortable for you. Take one nice inhale and let that inhale and the power of that inhale be felt within your chest. And then take one deeper breath on top of that into your belly button where you could allow it to expand. And as you hold that breath for a few seconds and slowly exhale, just quietly tell yourself, I am here. I can slow down. I do not have to hold everything alone. As you breathe in, again, letting that inhale expand your chest and your belly button as you hold your breath. And once more, exhale through your nose and through your mouth. Once more, just reminding yourself again that I am here. I can slow down, and I do not have to hold everything alone. Again, just inhale through our nose, exhale through our nose or through our mouth. And again, just reminding ourselves that we are here, we can soften, and we are allowed to receive the support necessary. And again, as we as you inhale once more and as you exhale once more, I just want to remind y'all tonight, let this be the room where your nervous system remembers you are never meant to carry life alone. So now that we got ourselves grounded, now that we got ourselves established, now that we kind of got ourselves just feeling feeling good for the most part, right? You know, how many of y'all are feeling good right now? I mean, I know I'm feeling good at this particular moment in time, but other than that, I'm grateful for it without a doubt. I wanted to kind of go over a couple of poems, like always. I figured why not make a poem about our two topics for today, right? So our first poem that I kind of put together is literally based off of the 4th of July called Independence. And this could be a continuation as well of the poem that I dedicated for the 4th of July as well. That's on all my social media platforms. So here we go. First poem reading of the day is called Independence. They taught us to wear loneliness like armor, to call isolation strength, to call overfunctioning maturity, to call emotional distance wisdom. So we learned how to carry whole worlds without asking for a hand, how to smile with full backs and tired spirits, how to bleed privately and clap for ourselves just for surviving. But survival is not the same as wholeness, and being needed is not the same as being known. Somewhere along the way, independence became a throne too cold to rest on. That is real independence right there, baby. That is real independence. I want to kind of let that sink in for just a little bit in honor of the 4th of July edition or broadcast, courtesy of the Cave Within, as we run back that first poem one more time called Independence. Again, they taught us to wear loneliness like armor, to call isolation strength, to call overfunctioning maturity, to call emotional distance wisdom. So we learned how to carry whole worlds without asking for a hand, how to smile with full backs and tired spirits, right? How to bleed privately and clap for ourselves just for surviving. But survival is not the same as wholeness, and being needed is not the same as being known. And somewhere along the way, independence became a throne too cold to rest on. Please, by all means, let that sit, Let me know how y'all are feeling in the chat if you're watching this if you're watching this broadcast live, or if you're watching the broadcast on replay on my Rumble page at CPHFWB44. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments. Let's get the engagement up. That way we can continue to grow and improve, and we can make each other better every single day. That way we can make the world a better place every single day. Because a lot of what we call independence, quite honestly, is really unhealed self-protection. Ooh, I gotta say that again for the people in the back. A lot of what we call independence is really unhealed self-protection. Let me tell you why, as I give you some commentary on this, like we do here in the Cave Within. See, what I'm starting to realize every single day is that independence, it has like a certain place. There's a certain level of beauty and discipline and initiative and personal responsibility. But when independence makes like a shift into like emotional isolation or control, pride, distrust, or even just a simple inability to receive, it stops being strength and it starts becoming distance. And that's where interdependence becomes sacred. Perfect segue into the second poem that I have for y'all this evening, called Interdependence. It goes like this, y'all. Interdependence is not weakness, it is the wisdom to know that rivers are fed by tributaries, that forests survive by unseen networks, that breath itself is exchange. It is the humility to let another voice hold a truth you need, courage to say, I cannot be whole in hiding, the grace to understand that leadership is not standing above, but standing among, not louder, but more available, not harder, but more rooted, not controlling, but connected. Interdependence, baby. Interdependence. That is how we do it on this 4th of July edition of The Cave Within, your live digital sanctuary for all things poetry, meditation, and stillness. Did I mention we're still coming in hot every single time? Y'all continue to support the sanctuary. Subscribe to at Mr. Did Not Give Up 44, kicks.com /Mr. Did Not Give Up 44. For those who are watching on the live, please do so as I'm telling you this. And if you're watching this on the replay, do this again as I'm telling you this on the replay. As I run back the second poem before we dive into our meditation to kind of wind things down after all the excitement and the anxious thoughts we may have been having during this 4th of July season, as I run through the second poetry piece called Interdependence. And by the way, interdependence is not weakness, it is the wisdom to know that rivers are fed by tributaries, that forests survive by unseen networks, that breath itself is exchanged. It is the humility to let another voice hold a truth you need, courage to say I cannot be whole in hiding, the grace to understand that leadership is not standing above but standing among, not louder but more available, not harder but more rooted, not controlling but connected. Interdependence, baby. And quite honestly, that's the shift right there from I must do it all myself to I am stronger, wiser, and healthier when I'm rightly connected. That right there, y'all, that's how we go from independence, pardon me, to interdependence. Remember that, y'all. As we make our transition into our ambient immersion, I'm not going to keep y'all too long. It's the 4th of July, and we need to kind of wind down a little bit after all the excitement. So let's jump right into our meditation for the evening. And for those who watch the broadcast of the Cave Within on a regular basis, y'all already know what time it is. For those who are listening for the first time, we're going to move now into the ambient portion of the night. This is simply less words, more sound, more stillness, more space for truth to settle. And this is basically the part where you can continue to study, continue to journal if you're doing that already, continue to focus on your breath, pray, meditate, reflect, or simply just rest and be held by the atmosphere that the cave within your digital sanctuary for all things poetry, meditation, and stillness is continuing to bring you. So, as we begin to make this transition, we go ahead and simply close your eyes or soften your gaze, whichever's more comfortable for you. And as we begin to focus on our breath, we shall inhale through our nose 3 to 5 seconds, holding our breath for 3 to 5 seconds, and then exhaling slowly for about 3 to 5 seconds. Let the sounds, as the soundscape begins, visualize calm forest, ambient river flowing, birds chirping in the background. We're releasing any kind of tension and stress from the roots of our feet to the crown on top of our head. Notice any stress or tension and slowly let it melt away. And realize that you do not have to hold life alone, but you're allowed to receive. And connection is not weakness, y'all. And true leadership begins in presence. As we remove ourselves from our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and our ego, focusing on our breath, becoming the observer and watcher of everything from within, as we begin to tune into the greatest healer that lives from within each and every single one of us. And as we inhale through our nose and as we exhale through our nose or mouth, if you get lost within this meditation, just remember to come back to the breath, let the sound hold you, and just continue to release any tension and any stress that you may be experiencing in this particular moment in time. I will go ahead and let y'all be, but I can assure you I shall be back, as this is the Cave Within, your live digital sanctuary for all things poetry, meditation, and stillness. We shall be right back. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Cave Within, your live digital sanctuary for all things poetry, meditation, and stillness. As we are still in tune with our lovely soundscape for this evening, continuing to breathe in through our nose, nice, calm, and gentle inhale, inhaling as much calm as possible, holding our breath, really embracing the power of breath being nature's energy drink, I like to call it, as we exhale slowly, exhaling away all of the stress without a doubt. And again, if your mind wanders, which is very common within meditation practices on a regular basis, it's perfectly fine. It happens to everybody, myself included. Just simply remember to come back to the breath and let the sound hold you and just remind yourself to return to your center and that you are truly allowed to be supported. And just remember, y'all, I want y'all to leave with this message that leadership begins with inner stillness every single time. As we come back into the physical realm, we'll finish off with our three final inhales and exhales like we normally do within every meditation. As we inhale through our nose, as always, 3 to 5 seconds, really allow that inhale to expand your chest, expand your belly button, holding that inhale, and then slowly exhaling through your nose or through your mouth, like always. Repeat the process 2 more times as we inhale through our nose, holding our breath for a few seconds, and exhaling slowly once more for 3 to 5 seconds. Again, just holding the breath once more, inhaling once more, holding the breath for a few seconds, and then slowly exhaling through your nose or through your mouth for 3 to 5 seconds. Coming back into our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and our ego, acknowledging and accepting and embracing all those things without too much attachment whatsoever. And as we begin to come back together, like always, first and foremost, open your eyes or come out of your softened gaze. How are we feeling right now, chat? How are we feeling for those who are watching this live on Rumble for the replay? Let me know how y'all are feeling in the chats, in the comments. Whatever is true is welcome, without a doubt. And if tonight's theme of from independence to interdependence, the difference between bosses and leaders, if this theme is hitting home for you right now, maybe you should ask yourself a few questions here just to dive a little deeper into it. Why not, right? Ask yourself, where am I using independence as armor? Ask yourself, where do I need support? Or better yet, how about you ask yourself, where am I being invited to lead with more presence, not just pressure? Just a few questions. You don't got to answer them right away. Y'all just let them sink in, let them settle, and whenever it comes to you, let it flow naturally. Please don't force it whatsoever. And as we wind down this broadcast, this 4th of July broadcast of the Cave Within, your live digital sanctuary for all things poetry, meditation, and stillness. And speaking of stillness, if this kind of sacred stillness speaks to you, if your spirit is hungry for more places like this, oh yeah, there's plenty more places you can rest. Don't forget, y'all, I got my Gumroad e-commerce store. That's a very popular place you can rest right now. As a matter of fact, you can get the audio books for my latest poetry book, Infinity Chakras, Journey Within, and you can get the audio book for my latest book, The Fitness Mirage. And oh, I also want to say The Fitness Mirage is an award-winning book. Shout out to Literary Titan for giving me the 4-star review and giving me the silver award recognition for the Fitness Mirage. I appreciate that. I appreciate that without a doubt. And that's just another reason why you should go get your copy on Amazon. That's another reason why you should get your copy on Amazon, and that's another reason why you should go order the audiobook on Gumroad. That's Gumroad.com. Type in my name, Clifton Pope. My store will come up. There you can get the Infinity Chakra Journey Within audiobook and the Fitness Mirage audiobook. And you can get the Nighttime Sanctuary Volume 1 through 3 pack. That's also available on Gumroad as well. Volume 1, it features my two guided meditations, one on leadership and one on letting go of fear. Volume 2 features my two featured poems of mine, Take Action and Vibrations poem. And Volume 3 is basically a guided meditation and poem based on inner lights, if I'm not mistaken correctly. But regardless, Nighttime Sanctuary Volume 1 through 3 pack, that's available on my Gumroad e-commerce store. And for those who don't know, I am an ISA certified personal trainer and I am an ISA certified transformation specialist, offering in person for those who are here in Corpus Christi, Texas, listening to this live or on the replay, or if you're somewhere, wherever you may be, however you may be listening to this all across the world, I do offer virtual services as well. Regardless, if you're interested in a mind, body, and spirit renewal, courtesy of the HFWB Holistic Fitness Training Program or Exercise Transformation Program, reach out to me, 361-765-4760. That's my personal phone number. Call or text me, or you can email me. This is all lowercase, cpope, CPOPE dot CP at gmail.com. Reach out to me. We'll set up a free consultation. We'll put together a customizable plan to help you unlock your hidden secret to your mind, body, and spirit's full potential because we all have it within us. We just have to tap into it. And last but not least, be sure to check out the HFWB podcast series. It's available, of course, on Apple and Spotify podcasts and on Rumble. I just recently dropped episode 329 with my interview I did with Miss Amy Imprima. If you're into metaphysics, you're going to definitely love that episode for sure. And I, ironically enough, dropped the 4th of July edition for the HFWB podcast series, which is based off of this theme that we're doing tonight with the Cave Within. See, it all makes sense now, from independence to interdependence. And that is how we do things for sure. But anyways, if this space continues to help you sleep, study, breathe, or come back to yourself, most importantly, be sure to subscribe, kicks.com/ Mr. Did Not Give Up 44 at Mr. Did Not Give Up 44 as well. And before I forget, I got a whole bunch of new products coming soon to the Gumroad store, so be on the lookout for that. I'll be working on a few more products as well to put into the Gumroad store. So be on the lookout for that within the next week or two to come. More projects are on the way. We're just kicking things this off as far as the second half of 2026 as effectively as possible and trying to and really establishing as much momentum as possible based off of this energy from the 4th of July. That's how I'm feeling right now within this holiday weekend and this holiday season. And I want to thank y'all for those who are watching live right now, or for those who are even watching the replay at a later notice. I really do hope that this continues to empower, uplift, and inspire you to become a better version of yourself every single day. And I want to thank y'all for being here tonight inside the Cave Within, the first broadcast of the month of July. And what a better way to do it than on the 4th of July, baby. My name is Clifton Pope, and I have been your guide once again for the Cave Within, your live digital sanctuary for all things poetry, meditation, and stillness. For the restless souls, for the night healers, for all the deep healers out there, I want to wish y'all a wonderful and safe and restful night. Enjoy what's left of the 4th of July holiday and use the what you've learned from the experience of spending time with the people who you love and care about and who support you the most to not only stand tall as a independent boss if that's what fits your title as best, but transition into more of an interdependent leader to where people can become more empowered and uplifted and inspired by every move you make. That's really all it takes at the end of the day. But other than that, I love y'all. Peace, love, positive vibrations to my Cave Within family. I'll see y'all next time because this has been the Cave Within with yours truly, Clifton Pope, HFWB, baby. Talk to y'all soon. Peace, y'all.